Thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. We are Anlibri, which is a book logging app where every story matters. My name is Judah Lintz. I am the COO of Anlibri. I'm majoring in business management. I'll be using my past experience starting my own LLC to better manage the daily operations here at Anlibri. And I'm going to acknowledge that I do lack a little bit of technical knowledge when it comes to app development, but to supplement that, I will be attending an app development course at Code Academy so that I can better understand and communicate as the COO of a company that runs an app.
Hello, my name is Giselle Zuniga. I'm a third-year entrepreneurship major here at WSU. I am Anlibri's Chief Innovative Officer. I draw on my experiences in working in many collaborative groups, managing 2 WSU organization social media, and having a proficiency in app prototyping. Having these experiences have given me the ability to constantly adapt to evolving trends and in technologies, which is crucial to ensure that Anlibri stays in the forefront of innovation.
Hi, my name is Amani Cruz, and I am the founder and CEO of Anlibri. I am double majoring in entrepreneurship and business management. My role on the Anlibri team is overseeing the business management and the overall development and production of Anlibri. I have started small businesses in the past, and I will be drawing on those experiences to help guide me as a proper CEO and founder. I'm also going to take a moment to introduce Amaya Gillen. She is the team's CMO. She is a marketing student here at WSU, and she advises us on aspects like creating the brand development and the marketing plan. She sadly could not join us today. And I'm also going to introduce a team advisor, Walter Cruz. He is a local entrepreneur of Quality Sportsbreakers LLC. His role as an advisor has been just kind of teaching us what it means to be a team, with gaining customer attention and creating aspects like brand recognition.
I'll be introducing our second advisor, who is Asa Brown. He's an entrepreneurship and finance professor here at WSU, and he also owns his own legal firm. He is a lawyer, and Asa Brown will be advising and guiding our financial well-being as well as our legal well-being.
And I will be introducing Anlibri's secret weapon, Imran Khan. As a former employee at Amazon Goodreads, and a current employee at the Artisan Code team, as well as a published author, he creates value to Anlibri not only by being well-versed in the market we're trying to enter, but as well as giving us a competitive edge against our #1 competitor in the market.
I'd also like to add real quick that Anlibri is looking to recruit more advisors and add them to our team. We are looking to add a education professor, someone like a college English professor or a high school teacher to help us better enter the educational market.
This is Anlibri, a cutting-edge book logging platform. Anlibri is set to revolutionize the reading experiences for all users. Here to ignite a vibrant community, it is more than just a book logging platform and a recommendation hub. Our app is a gateway to connecting like-minded book lovers. Our mission is to cultivate a community, an inclusivity aspect to our app, and a diversity aspect, as well as creating a safe space for book lovers.
For the problem, it couldn't just be what we believed the problem to be, but what other users were saying the problem with competitors were. What kept coming up was these applications don't build community, they are not user-focused, they exclude certain media, and they have just become outdated and complacent. So the value we wanted to create in Anlibri is giving users the feeling that they're being heard. We don't want them to feel ignored and frustrated anymore. We want to provide them with the community that they are so actively seeking out by showing that we listen and showing the importance of niche markets. Some of these niche markets are self-publishing applications like I've outlined along the bottom. These applications are AO3, Webtoon, and Wattpad. These are applications that allow either a user to log on and publish a story they've written, or for a user to log on and read a story that someone else has published. These markets are huge. I've shown the monthly traffic, and this represents that this isn't something super small. People read these platforms and they continue to come back and love reading here.
So the solution to this problem that we've outlined is Anlibri. Anlibri is customizable, personalized, inclusive, and engaging. And users of the Anlibri app can expect benefits like our features such as an adjustable home screen, individualized recommendation, a limitless tagging system so that users can better sort and filter novels they might be interested in reading, as well as a lively social media, so that way users can feel heard. All of these features are designed in such a way that Anlibri can create a community in which readers feel like they are heard, like they matter. While Anlibri is the name of our app, we want to emphasize that Anlibri is not an app. Anlibri is a community and a culture designed to address the lack of community and culture in this environment and space. So let's talk about the market opportunity. First, I'd like to mention that there were 90 million electronic readers in 2018. And by 2027, there's expected to be 1.2 billion e-readers. The app market is expected to grow by 28.6% through 2027. And the value of the e-reader market is expected to reach 15.39 billion. We've done a TAM-SAM-SOM analysis, and we've shown that our service obtainable market is around $80 million. With that said, there's an estimated 890, mostly women, online e-readers in the US aged 16 to 29 that Anlibri can reach. And we illustrate these numbers to show that there's plenty of room in this market for Anlibri to get started and continue to grow as time goes on.
It is important to point out our competitive landscape. As you can see here, our main competitors are Bookshelf, Goodreads, and Storygraph. We have attached some screen grabs to show you the difference between our competitors and Anlibri. As you can see here, our competitors have a very similar look and feel to them, as where Anlibri has this feeling where the user can make their library feel like their own, customize it, and really just feel personal to them.
I'd also like to add to this, like if you look at Bookshelf, Goodreads, and Storygraph, that their user interface looks like maybe one notch above the Craigslist interface, whereas what we're doing is we're paying attention to what users like to see, which is, a customizable home space, like Giselle said, where you can kind of feel like you are actually interacting with your own at-home bookshelf, as opposed to Craigslist. Anyways, continuing.
To further drive our point, we have made this chart to show you the way that Anlibri brings value and differs completely from our competitors. As mentioned before, Anlibri offers a social media aspect, customization, bookshelf log design, limitless filtering, community and inclusivity, as well as novel marketing. The only thing we have in common with our competitors is the user need analysis, which we are confident that Anlibri can execute better as we have a better algorithm that knows our users to the T.
I'd also like to add on here that, this is just a chart with a bunch of red X's and green check marks. But what this chart is really trying to illustrate is that our competitors are simply retailers. Whereas what Anlibri is a culture and a community that happens to retail as well.
Okay, so we included a year one go-to-market strategy. Both of these channels are very traditional along the top. We'll do digital marketing campaigns along aspects like social media, search engines, and frequenting online communities that avid readers use. And we're going to retain long-term growth in users by analyzing user behavior, refining our recommendation algorithms, and recognizing user feedback and implementing that. However, a very specific marketing plan that the Anlibri team has come up with that we believe is going to set us apart is marketing in the TikTok Book Talk community. The TikTok Book Talk community is a very large group of users who use this tag to talk about their favorite books, books they'd recommend, maybe ones they wouldn't. And overall, in 2023, the tag book talk has garnered over 200 billion views. This shows that
5 minutes left.
thank you. This shows that by engaging in the TikTok community and using this as a main marketing platform strategy, that we will be directly communicating with our target market, and it's going to show what we're saying, that Anlibri is different, that we engage with our users and we know what they want. We would be the first of our direct competitors to use this method.
One thing I'd like to add here real quick is that eventually we do intend upon entering the educational market as well, which is something our competitors aren't doing adequately. And additionally, while books are an old technology, the way that this old technology can be marketed doesn't need to stay old, right? There's a new market, there's a younger market, and new ends justify new means. Our competitors are rather complacent in the way that they're marketing, and we think that our strategy is competitive, new, and novel. And for this reason, we think that our get-to-market strategy is very obtainable.
For the revenue model and projections, along the top and the bottom, we have a year 1 versus year 5 to kind of highlight the growth rate Anlibri is expected to hit. We calculate these numbers with a very industry standard formula. It's called the revenue per 1,000 impressions. This is just calculating how much revenue Anlibri would reach from in-app advertisements. So per user, per year, per month, this calculates to 16 cents. However, pairing this with the in-app purchases we're going to have, which is going to be a shop that allows users to decorate the bookshelf, this is going to be $1.16 per user per month or $13.92 per user per year. Along the right is a graph of our expenses versus net profit. You will see that in year 4 and 5, we hit a exponential growth period. This is because Anlibri is going to be launching a new feature starting in year 4 that allows users to read directly on the platform. None of our competitors have that feature on their application. But the funding and
Got
time.
about 2.5 minutes left.
For the funding and timeline on the left, we have a breakdown of where we're going to be receiving the funding needed for year 1 to get Anlibri up off the ground. A big percentage of this is bootstrapping, which is just capital us as founders are putting in to get Anlibri up and running. The right has the expense breakdown for year 1. We hit industry standards for this, like a slightly above 20% for marketing and promotion. And along the bottom, using this expense breakdown, we have calculated our timeline. This is just the period of research and design, which we're currently in. We'd move to development and then launch. And instead of being complacent, we're going to move into the monitor period, to where we keep updating and keep upgrading Anlibri to be the best of what it can be and meeting customer needs. Those numbers along the top of 62,000 is the funding period we would need to acquire at each point throughout this year to make sure we are hitting our mark and able to keep moving forward.
Ultimately, choosing Anlibri is a smart decision because Anlibri is about paying attention to a customer need that's not being met and then meeting that customer need. Creating a culture and a community where people can feel listened to and valued is worth investing in. Thank you. With that said, that is our presentation, unless anyone else has anything to add.
No?
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, and we'd like to open the floor to questions. And at some point, actually, we'd like to ask you guys some questions, if that's okay.
I've got a question on any kind of customer or prototype feedback that you may have had along the way. I would imagine you've put this in front of people or consumers that would be interested in this. And I'm just curious what kind of feedback you've received and how that's helped shape the usability of your platform.
Of course, I will say that overall, people are excited. People are looking forward. We did launch a survey to kind of gauge the interest in Anlibri. The social media does need refining, and that is both consumer feedback, but also feedback that we gave to an app developer, so that when we're moving forward, we're not starting with something that wasn't the most loved. So we have gotten those critiques, and we're going to be implementing those moving forward.
Great.
I have a question regarding something that you had in your revenue model. And I think I made a similar comment when I was reviewing the business plan. Have you considered, in place or in addition to having people or users like purchase those decorations for the bookshelves, actually like use that as an opportunity to promote engagement on the platform or on the app? So, if they, I don't know, leave a review for a book or comment on another user's review of a book, they get points or coins, and then they can use those coins to purchase decorations. Just a thought, or just wondering if you considered that.
I am so happy you asked. This image on the furthest of the right kind of showcases that. I wish we could have fit time to talk about it more, but we do have this aspect of earning charms. Now, charms can be earned both through achievements that we set as promotional periods, or just to promote user engagement, but they can also set their own goals. However, like you're suggesting, we can also use charms in a way that rewards users with items in the shop as free decorations once they do one of these milestones that we're pushing.
And another thing I'd like to add to that is we do intend to gamify reading through Anlibri. Allotting these sort of like charm points for engaging with the app. But additionally, we're going to do things where, the big thing that Anlibri is about is culture and feeling connected and included. One thing that we were thinking of doing was allowing influencers to have their sort of like custom charm piece or bookshelf decoration. And when someone joins the app through this influencer, they can gain access to that and they can feel a little bit connected with the person who kind of exposed them to the app, if that makes sense. And does that answer your question?
That does, and that does make sense. I think those are great ideas, so thanks for touching on that.
Thank you.
To build on that a little bit, I was kind of curious what you guys thought about inviting authors? Are they included in your influencers and engaging community through authors? Maybe, I know like TikTok, Instagram, Patreon come to mind of like subscription-based model where they offer exclusive content. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'd like to take that one. We intend on focusing a little bit more on the author end of the platform once we believe that the platform has become more established, and we will be implementing suggestions like yours as well, or specifically, we will be implementing a system for authors to promote their works on Anlibri. Additionally, we do intend to sort of monetize authors in the future in such a way where authors can pay to have their works promoted on Anlibri. And we'd also like to mention that a lot of our competitors don't allow unpublished works, and Anlibri will allow unpublished works to be distributed on the platform. So let's say like you write a book and you love it, getting it published is a little bit challenging, whereas instead you can just go on Anlibri and publish quote unquote very quickly. And that's a segment. That's how we plan to address that segment. Did anyone want to add anything to that? Or?
Just real quickly, that we took a lot of time finding the perfect advisor to help us understand getting to that point. So we have Imran Khan, who's both used to work for Amazon's Goodreads, but he is a published author, which means he has connections, but he also has valuable insight on this topic to guide us into getting to the point Judah was making.
Yeah, we want Anlibri to be appealing for the reader, but in the future, we're going to also focus on making it appealing for the author as well.
Cool. That's great.
Are there any other questions?
If there are no other questions, we have a few questions we'd like to ask, if that's okay.
Sure.
One, our team composition. We had. Is it okay if I slide through? I'm gonna slide through the PowerPoint here a little bit.
Go for it.
We included a professor that we believe that we were very close with, as well as Amani's dad, who does run an LLC, and we believe that their experience is very relevant to what we're doing here. But we're wondering if it comes across as sort of like unprofessional to have like family members on our advisory board or professors on our advisory board. Can we get your opinion on that?
Does anyone have any insight on that?
I mean,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
worked with, oh, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead,
no, no,
Jen.
you can go first. You go first, Amanda.
Okay. I mean, I've worked in family businesses that operate better than most, right? And so I don't think having family members as part of your advisory board, as long as they have the best interest of the business in mind, you know, kind of are able to separate personal and business in a very effective way. I think that's not a red flag to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think it's a red flag. Just make sure you kind of have your checks and balances. And as for the professor, though, there tends to be a little bit of concern when it comes to the perspective of investors when an academic professor is on the board of directors, but they could be like an advisor or a mentor. So just something to keep in mind.
Thank you all for that insight there.
Yeah, thanks. And then one other question, if that's okay. We wanted to ask about the revenue. So, you know, there's a variety of teams that enter this competition showing, you know, the massive revenue numbers and then some teams that have smaller revenue numbers. And we're wondering if judges are looking for quantity revenue, you know, big numbers as opposed to, you know, small numbers that have quality backing behind them. What would you prefer to see? A company that's projected to be wildly profitable or a company that maybe predicts more modest margins, more realistically with better backing?
I'll just jump in and my experience is I would rather see the latter. I think one of the enthusiastic mistakes that entrepreneurs make is that it's easy to make a lot of money, and it's really not. It's a lot of work, and I would take the responsible road, the conservative road, the thoughtfulness of the work required, and have more conservative revenue numbers that you might get surprised at how it grows, as opposed to disappointment for what went wrong.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. And like judges in this setting, right, we want to see data-driven, realistic numbers. And I wouldn't say that directly translates, though, to the investor setting. You know, you're gonna have a mix. You want people who are like, you're gonna have people who want you to be realistic. Hopefully that's everyone, but that isn't really everyone. Some people do care about big numbers, especially if they're investing, because they want a return on their investment. So that just means finding the right investors, if that's the route you're going to take.
Okay. Did you guys have any other questions for us today?
Just one kind of overall question. What do you see as the barrier to your success? I mean,
You've got about 30 seconds.
I imagine then the barrier not to be marketing, as I believe we will be able to get that and reach that. However, funding most likely. Everything else, I know we have put the work in to know that we've done what we can to make sure this is as accurate as possible. However, the funding required is noticeable. And while we are putting in our own funding, we're gonna have to work really hard to make sure we can get the rest that we need to launch Anlibri.
Yeah, makes sense. Thanks.
All right. Sounds like we're out of time. So
Yes.
thank you all for joining us, and please vote Anlibri for the Best Tech Venture Merit Award.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right,
You're
thank
good
you
to
all.
go.